Welcome to Knife Delights and welcome back to part 3 of this old orange knife. In part 1 we got the bolsters cleaned off. I demonstrated how I got them sanded off. They look like this now. They kind of looked like this before I started. And then in part 2 I cleaned the show side of the blades so we could have just a little bit of contrast. There's what I got cleaned off. And that's kind of what they look like before I started. So today what we're going to do is we're going to work on cleaning down here in the channels. And let me see. I need to get myself some clean rags, clean patches here. But in the meantime, we'll just look down in here. And we can see there's some rust down in there. And we also got some pocket lint. So we want to get that pocket lint out first. So just use a little something to scrape with. You can get down in there. You want to be able to get this area right here. Some stuff right there. And before we do any soaking, yep, see there? Try to get rid of it now. Otherwise it just kind of clumps up when you soak it. You can see some other stuff down in here. It's there, just ain't, there it is. More stuff down in here. There we go. Doesn't hurt to lightly scrape down in there. Oh, there's something down in there. Take a look down in there. Got most of it out, it looks like. Still a few little things down in there. There's a big chunk of it. Try to get all that cleaned out of there. And again, touch up this area here and here. And that area looks pretty clean. Check our back springs real quick. There's just a tiny bit of rust on there, but I think we soak it in some evapor rust and then the mineral oil, that'll come off. But we always want to pay attention because that affects our walk and talk. There, what we got there? A little bit of stuff there. Them cleaned off good. Now, since I did see what looks to be just a tiny bit of rust down in there, I think I'm going to give it a very light soaking in the evapor rust, just to weaken that rust. It's not very bad, but there is just a tiny little bit. So let me get some evapor rust here. And we're just going to give it a light soaking there for about an hour or so. I've done about an hour or hour and a half's worth of soaking on here. And so we're going to pull it out of the evapor rust. Put it down into some fresh water here. And let it rinse off. And we'll just take a look at what we got. You can see on those bolsters how leaving it in the evapor rust will darken your metal. So you don't want to leave it in too long, no longer than what you actually have to have it in there. So, okay, now these were the unpolished bolsters. You can see leaving it in the evapor rust, how it's removed some of that. See there how it'll just wipe off? Oh, look at how it darkened these blades. So we will have to touch them up again. There's the unpolished side. See how it took that stuff off? Took a lot of that off, didn't it? But our once shiny blades aren't so shiny anymore, are they? So we'll touch them up again. That's not a big problem. It gives it kind of a dull patina. But it did help clean out those nail nicks too, didn't it? Must have had just a little bit of stuff down in there yet. Okay, let me move this out of the way. And let's just see what we've got. See there? Eats that rust away pretty good. We'll look down in here. You see it loosened up a lot of that rust down in there. So let's just clean it out here real quick. Wipe it out. See what we can find. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what we like to see. That didn't get down in there very deep. We'll wipe all of this out. We want to get rid of as much of this as we can, this dirty stuff. Again, we don't want to forget about this little area here, and way down up underneath there, if you can get, let me get a little closer here. Wipe this area, it doesn't focus there. Wipe these areas off here and try to get down underneath them as best you can. And we're going to be throwing this in the ultrasonic cleaner here in a minute and see what we can get flushed out. But we do want to remove as much of this as we can before we do that. It's wiping it right out. Now, if there was still a lot of rust down in there, what we could do is take some sandpaper and scrub on it again, sand on it. As a matter of fact, let's just do that before we throw it in the ultrasonic cleaner, because any of your material that gets left in here from the sanding process, why, hopefully after we get it in the cleaner, it'll flush all of that stuff out. So we can just touch it up down in here a little bit, loosen up anything. Let's get a clean one here, see what we got. Oh yeah, get it loosened up. A bit of stuff right here. Okay, that's done. Let's check this out just a little bit here. Something else you can do if you don't have a Dremel, and I don't know why I haven't shown this before, but you can buy these brass brushes at any hardware store. They're real cheap. You can always use your brass brush to clean this area right here. Sometimes that's a hard area to get to. Just kind of scrub it off like that. And we're looking pretty good. So let me get the ultrasonic cleaner ready. our warm water in there. Put a little bit of Dawn dishwashing liquid in there. And we want to try to, if it'll fit in there with the blades open, you want to open the blades up a little bit here to help that bubble out all of that stuff. Just throw it down there and see what happens. We'll set it for 5 minutes, and here we go. Let's take a look-see. See what happened. Oh yeah, that water's dirty. Take the knife out here real quick, set it aside. See down there, you can see all kinds of stuff suspended in the water there, so we got rid of some stuff. Let's set this off to the side real quick. And we'll wipe the knife off. And since we've had it in water, we want to make sure we don't have any remaining moisture. So we're going to throw it in the mineral oil to help displace any of that water and moisture. Give it a soaking and get some oil into these pivots and in and around the back springs. So here we go with a fresh mineral oil soak. After letting it soak, I put it in a drainer there and let it drip dry just a little bit. This is what we look like. Now comes the messy task of cleaning off all the oil. And you can see down there at the bottom of this some of the crud we got out of it from soaking it. So we'll just start the process of getting it wiped off here. So I was watching, now see that mineral oil? Remember the blade gotten darkened a little bit from the evaporust? Now I can wipe it off and get rid of some of that stuff from the evaporust there. But I was watching another video here recently, and Happy for Hookers did a cleaning video, and it was very interesting to see the processes that he used. So shout out for Hunting for Hookers. Great channel. Check him out. But it just shows there's more than one way to skin a cat. Yeah, he was talking about using Brasso, and reminded me of my Navy days. Quite familiar with Brasso. Always shining that bright work. There you go. See some of that rust is rubbing off the back springs here. So we're going to look in these channels, see what they look like. And usually that mineral oil soaks that stuff up and makes it easy to wipe out. Take a clean spot on here and let's just see what we can come up with. See there? You bet. Get all that gunk out of there. So I will continue to wipe on this and get it cleaned out. Sure enough, getting it clean. Another thing we want to really concentrate on now are these back springs. Close these up. And you can see right along there, you can see the dirt and stuff that's still on there. So sometimes you can just take your little screwdriver and just kind of scrape on it. Get anything off of there. We want those to be clean. pull your blade out to about where a half stop would be. Now this back spring's not raising up very high, is it? So it's hard to clean it any. Let's check out this other one. Try to get it cleaned off. See what it looks like. Yep, it's hard to get to them. Look down in here, see what that looks like. Definitely want to get that cleaned out. Oh, see all that stuff we got out of there? Looks a lot cleaner now. A lot of that stuff cleaned out. That's rust right there. I'm going to check right here. This area right here. It looks pretty clean, although there's a little chunk of stuff right down here. So a little something down in there. Yep. Get those cleaned out a little bit. You want to be careful here. You got a knife blade. You don't want to get sliced and diced. Clean that right up. Let's check our walk and talk. Got pretty good snap there now, doesn't it? And this is where the tedious part comes in. You just keep, working the blades. You'll work some more stuff out. Pretty good snap to it. You see the oil's dirty there. So what I'm going to do off camera is I'm just going to keep poking away and prodding away at things. Keep wiping this dirty oil off as I work the blades. It's got a hard pull, but it should loosen up. Well, this is where we're going to end up with in this video here. This is what she looks like now. She's pretty clean down inside. We've got pretty decent walk and talk on it. And I do have everything pretty well cleaned out down inside here. And some of that's hard to get to down in there. But it's pretty much all gone. All the rust is out of there. So in the next video, I think we can just put our final touches on this old orange knife. Make sure and check out parts 1 and 2. We'll see you next time. Have a very delightful day.